The following is a production of Learfield Sports.
Hello there and welcome to Spartan Sports Report. I'm Justin Allegri. San Jose State is 4-4, 3-2 in Mountain West Conference play following their 31-21 win over New Mexico a couple of weeks ago. The Spartans enjoyed their only bye of the season last week and will get back on the field this Friday, November 6th against BYU. We'll recap the game with San Jose State head coach Ron Caragher on this episode, and we'll preview BYU upcoming. Also, we'll take a look at the women's basketball season that will start this weekend. But first, let's go back to Spartan Stadium and the highlights against New Mexico.
San Jose State taking on New Mexico for the first time since the 2006 New Mexico Bowl game. First play of the game, it's San Jose State giving it to Tyler Irvin for a harmless 4-yard gain on first down. The second play of the game, though, was not so harmless from Tyler Irvin. Sends Crawley in motion. They fake to him. Now a handoff to Irvin, running out to the right side. Has a hole across the secondary, past the 40, the 50. Wide open spaces. Tyler Irvin is gone. Touchdown, San Jose State. And just like that, in 2 plays, the Spartans are on the board. That's right, 71 yards to the house for his 12th rushing touchdown of the season. It was 7-0 San Jose State 41 seconds into the game. Lobos' first possession, they were stymied by a nice tackle from Nick Areglia, forcing a 3-and-out and a punt. Spartans got it back after that punt, and on the first play, Potter drops back to throw and is sacked by Taylor Timmons. Spartans did get a first down from another Tyler Irvin run. Then Potter hits Chris Kearney on the crossing route for a 12-yard first down catch. Spartans would be stalled, though, just outside of field goal range and forced to punt. The ensuing possession from the Lobos, one play, 79 yards from Terrion Gibson, who slashes the defense and outruns a couple of Spartan defenders for the score that ties the game at 7 at the end of quarter number 1. Start of the second quarter, New Mexico was driving to take the lead again, but Austin Apodaca is strung out by Maurice McKnight for a loss of 1. The 37-yard field goal try was blocked by Christian Tago, the linebacker for San Jose State, and keeping the game at a tie. Later in the quarter, though, the Lobos were on the move again. Jarrell Presley pounds it up the middle for a 9-yard pickup. Then Daquan Woodhouse finishes the drive by getting into the end zone from 4 yards away, and the Lobos had their first lead of the game, 14-7. Spartans hand it right back to Tyler Irvin, though, who drives up the middle for 8 yards. 2 plays later, it is Tyler Irvin for his second carry of more than 40 yards in the game. This one down near sideline for 41 and a first down to the Lobo 33. From there, it didn't take long for the Spartans to get into the end zone on this dart of a throw to Hansel Wilson that tied the game up from 35 yards out, 14-14. After the Spartans forced a punt, they would go back to work with Potter using his legs very well in this game, here for 16 yards on the scramble, setting up first down at the New Mexico 25. This is the mature play of the game from Potter, though. He steps up into the pocket and throws with great touch, fitting the ball in to the wide-open tight end Billy Freeman for a 25-yard touchdown score and regaining the lead 21-14 just before halftime. The Lobos started using the pass much better in the second half, and really with tight end Reese White here who grabs it for 13 yards. But when teams start to pass against the Spartans secondary, they are tough to beat. Here off the tip, Cleveland Wallace grabs the interception, takes it back 11 yards out of bounds. It was the first turnover of the day. After that, it's Potter on a broken play, running probably 40 total yards and somehow keeping the play alive to scramble and reverse field, finally getting into the end zone from 12 yards out and making it 28-14 San Jose State. The next drive, the Spartans added to their lead here on a nice pass to Wilson just behind coverage, but he gets tripped up to save him from a potential touchdown by New Mexico. Austin Lopez then comes on for a 43-yard field goal attempt and knocks it right through, making it 31-14 San Jose State. The Lobos were quick to strike back, though, following drive. A deep ball to Gibson, hauling it in for 44 yards to the San Jose State 8. And then Presley punched it in, making it a 10-point game with just 7 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Tyler Irvin and the Spartans really did work the clock, though, very nicely on their next possession. Irvin had his final big run of the night, going 50 yards and sealing the deal for the Spartans in the victory. San Jose State 31-21 victors. They go to 4-4 on the season, 3-2 in Mountain West Conference play. Tyler Irvin, 263 yards rushing in the game. Irvin did surpass the 1,000-yard rushing mark on the year, only the 11th Spartan ever to do so. Kenny Potter also with a nice night, 3 touchdowns overall, as the Spartans win 31-21. On to this week's Bay 101 Casino Player of the Game, and it is Tyler Irvin, who became just the 11th player to rush for more than 1,000 yards in a single SJSU season. He finished the game with his second-best rushing performance of the year, 263 yards on 36 carries and a touchdown. For his efforts, he is this week's Bay 101 Casino Player of the Game. Bay 101 Casino, San Jose's place to play.
Time now for this week's Lexus Drive of the Game. And for the Drive of the Game, we go back to Spartan Stadium and right near the end of the first half where San Jose State was trying to take a lead.
Spartans take over with 2 minutes and 13 left in the quarter, and we pick up the drive on a 2nd and 15 for the Spartans from the New Mexico 41 when Kenny Potter tucks it and scrambles for 16 yards and a first down. Then the next play from 25 yards away, Potter steps up into the pocket and finds the wide-open Billy Freeman, who strolls into the end zone for the score. Overall, the drive lasted 8 plays in just 1 minute and 55 seconds, but they went 67 yards for the touchdown to take the lead. The Drive of the Game is brought to you by your Northern California Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Time now for this week's Kinder's Barbecue Mountain West scoreboard. Only 4 games last week in the Mountain West. Boise State beating UNLV 55-27. Wyoming taking another loss against Utah State 58-27. San Diego State stays red hot as they went on the road at Colorado State 41-17. Boy, Air Force 58-7, the final score in that game, and Hawaii following that game, firing their head coach, Norm Chow. And that is a look at the Mountain West scoreboard from last week on the Kinder's Barbecue Mountain West scoreboard.
We'll take our first break here on Spartan Sports Report. When we return, we'll preview the women's basketball season with their head coach, Jamie Craighead. All that to come here on Spartan Sports Report.
With millions of businesses all in one place, the YP app can help you do pretty much anything. But can it get you to the moon? You'll need a space helmet. YP can do that. You'll need the highest rated hardware stores. Check. YP even has a cheap gas finder, which is perfect for longer trips. The even more powerful, so much more than a search engine Yellow Pages. YP can do that.
The Learfield Sports Directors Cup honors the nation's best overall collegiate athletic program in each division, men's and women's sports. The prestigious award continues its reign as the crowning achievement in college athletics. To follow your favorite team, like us on Facebook. Find us in USA Today, online, and on Twitter at LS Directors Cup. Over 2 decades of excellence, the Learfield Sports Directors Cup.
Welcome back on Spartan Sports Report. Now talking with San Jose State head women's basketball coach Jamie Craighead, and your 3rd season coach, and an exciting season upcoming for this team. Of course, we talk about the offseason and the 2 losses in Terea Cunningham and Becca Woodbury, top scorers and rebounders, but a lot of promise for this team this year coming into the season.
Yeah, definitely more balance. We're really excited about the fact that we have 2 point guards who can play really fast. I think I have the 2 best point guards in the conference, so we're really excited about that. Losing T and Becca, obviously a lot of people will look, and that seems like quite a load, which it probably is. Yeah. But we have balance. We just scrimmaged yesterday, and I felt really good about it offensively. We got to get better defensively. I think always at the beginning of the year, you're always thinking, okay, we got to learn how to guard and do things. But we're really excited about this group.
You mentioned to me that you're wanting to push this team even faster now. The pace.
Yeah, we have to be able to create offense with our defense, and I felt like a lot of times in the first 2 seasons we were creating offense with our offense, and we were just playing defense. So we're trying to crank up the tempo a little bit on that end, and it's difficult sometimes to do against ourselves because we're pretty good at beating pressure. So we're really anxious for November 1st just to get a look and see where we're at, but we're really excited about this group.
That has to be an interesting element to watch the evolution of how the players take the offense that you're trying to coach.
Yeah. I always felt like with a player like Terea, you can get some dominating play from that person, but then players kind of defer to that person.
Right.
whereas we want balance and we want everybody to be a threat on the court. I think that's where we're going to evolve and be much better this year. No one person's going to have to carry the load. We'll have different high scorers probably every game, and we'll have consistent play. But what we do is driven by the point guards, and I think for the first time we have two healthy bodies that can do what we want them to do from the point guard position.
Well, let's talk about the point guard position. One player that the Spartan fans are going to see immediately this season is Des Ramos. Talk about her.
Yeah, you know, she has great experience at the college level. She was a 2-year starter. Transfer sat out last year. You know, she's really fast. She thrives in transition as well. She can do some things defensively, but she's a scoring point guard. And then obviously we have Anaya Baker, who's returning and, you know, really played on 2 bum legs yesterday with shin splints, or last year. So we're really excited that she's healthy, and she looked great yesterday. She led all scorers with 27 points in our scrimmage and shot the ball tremendously well. You'll see a better version of her this season, and with the two of them together, there's going to be no rest for the other team. They're going to have 2 people that are constantly attacking them, so we're really excited.
How about that trail post position, which you lose in Becca Woodbury? You did bring in some different players for that position. Who would be playing there?
Ellie Stevens, you know, sat out last year. We thought that she'd be healthy and that she would be a quality backup to Becca. We thought Becca had to play too many minutes last year, but Ellie got injured, so we have her back now. Paris Baird, who's been in the program for 3 years now, she's looking better. And then Emily Van, who we saw sort of play spotty minutes, sometimes come up really big for us, especially in the conference tournament. Those 3 kids will have the ability to play and fill that role. It will take probably the 3 of them kind of comboing it up, but all 3 have the potential to play big minutes for us.
It seems like you have some pretty good presence inside the post too with Bird and Bird and Smith. Smith.
Yeah, the 2 of them together, they're probably playing, you know, the highest level basketball they've played that we've seen, and together, you know, they've been pushing each other in practice daily, and the fact that we'll have 2 people, you know, we can keep them fresh. We don't have to worry about foul trouble, and then we added Kaylee Matthews, who is also an inside post player for us. Right. So I'm hoping that because of the depth, the fouls, and all of those things, and being fatigued, we're really going to be okay, and we just have to stay healthy so that we can play all these players.
We haven't really got into the new rules, and maybe that's another time, but the depth has to help with the way the Spartans run their offense and the new rule changes in college basketball.
Definitely. Less timeouts. You know, the 5 fouls, we have to stay under the 5 fouls. We don't want to get to those, you know, 2 automatic free throws for another team to rest. But I think that the 10-minute quarters and the less timeouts, those play a favor to us. But we have to push, and we have to stay out of foul trouble, and we got to stay injury-free, really.
Well, a couple scrimmages coming up, Coach. Where is this team at in terms of their preparation for the season? Are they just out there ready to see somebody else and play somebody else?
Yeah, and I feel like for us, we need to see it, because it's really hard when you have a team that wants to go fast, make or miss when you're a pressing team. I mean, we already get the tempo we want every day, and we need to see somebody who's going to want to try and slow it down against us, and how we're going to combat that. And we don't have Des for the first 3 games, so that'll put us at a disadvantage in terms of, you know, not really getting to see ourselves until that St. Mary's game. But we're really excited. We feel like Nairi can, you know, help in and fill at the point guard backup position until we get Des in the St. Mary's game.
All right, that's San Jose State women's basketball coach Jamie Craighead. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
More on Spartan Sports Report when we return.
If there's one thing the human foot has always been good at, it's unleashing great power. Introducing the 241 horsepower Lexus IS 200 Turbo with almost 20% more base horsepower. The IS performance line has never been more powerful. See your Northern California Lexus dealer.
Welcome back on Spartan Sports Report, now joined by San Jose State head coach Ron Caragher. Coach, it seems like a little bit ago, but we need to recap that win over New Mexico. A big win for this team and in overcoming the hurdle that has been the triple option for this football team.
Yeah, very much so. I was really encouraged and proud of our defensive team. That's been our Achilles heel, stopping a triple option the last couple of years. But they did a very solid job. I think they were true to their gaps, very disciplined with their eyes, good tackling for the most part in the open field, and all in all, I think did a really good job as a defensive unit.
It seems like one of those wins that is as much a defensive win as it is an offensive win, just because they finally did figure out that triple option and stayed disciplined too.
They did. I was really encouraged. It was exciting to see, and then put some pressure on the opposing quarterback, and I think as a unit, all in all, played very good football.
Boy, another game from Tyler Ervin, though, 263 yards on the ground, and really it was him and the offense getting it going. 2 plays into the game, Spartans get a touchdown.
Yeah, that was exciting. The crease was there. We talked about the offensive lines playing good this year, opening things up, and that crease was there, and Tyler hit it and never looked back and went out the gate, second play from scrimmage. That was really exciting to see.
It's funny, you look at the game he had against Fresno and he gets 300 yards and you think, oh, that's probably his high mark. But 263 in 2 games this year, come on.
Well, that's pretty good. I don't remember the last time I've been around a back over 200, let alone twice over 200 and one at 300. So really impressive. All considered a guy who's 178 pounds and just runs the ball between tackles and can carry the ball, carry the load as much as he does. It's a credit to how well conditioned he is and the explosiveness and power that he has in that frame that he carries.
Well, then Kenny Potter also had a game in which I think he showed more maturity, and we're seeing that more and more from him this year. But 16 to 21, 190 yards. He had the 2 touchdowns and the rushing touchdown, which was, in all, it's its own separate thing, that rushing touchdown.
Right.
But he really seemed like he matured, particularly with that pass to Billy Freeman, where he stepped up into the pocket and he didn't really panic.
Right. I would agree with that, Justin. He has matured and developed as a player. And sometimes when you're such a good athlete at quarterback, you can rely on that instinct and quickly revert right to it and know you can make things happen on your feet. But on that play, as you noticed, he did have patience. He hung in the pocket. He let the play develop. It's a longer developing play. Right. The nod route that Billy did for the breaking an out route, but then turning it up and shook the defender, and Kenny stayed patient, kept his passing profile, and threw a nice pass, touchdown, Spartans.
Did you see that as more of a maturing play from him?
Oh yeah, I agree. I think I've seen more and more of those in the last few weeks as he's played more and more, and it's exciting to see his growth, his development, and there's always room to grow, but I see him also maturing as a leader in this football team, and while he hasn't been on campus for a year, he still is continuing to develop and I think impressed his teammates and setting a good example for everyone.
We'll talk about that scramble touchdown run that he had. I mean, come on, that was a completely broken play, somehow stayed alive, reversed, came back and found the end zone.
Yeah, he, going back to his junior college, it doesn't surprise me, put it that way, that play.
That doesn't surprise you?
Yeah, because I've seen him do plays like that, whether it was in junior college or once he set foot here during the spring, he had a couple of those scrambles that leaves people, no, and then touchdown in the end. So all in all, it's just really outstanding football, and the end result is what we desire. So it was great to see Kenny have a tremendous play.
Well, one negative note from that game, Coach, Tyler Winston, saw him go into the end zone on one of the plays and go down without contact. What is his status, and what can you tell us about Tyler?
Yeah, unfortunate. It was just him really redirecting. It was without contact, and so unfortunately he had a meniscus injury in his knee, and so he had surgery right away. On Monday they went in, and the good news is it's not a damaged meniscus, rather the meniscus, that pad between the knees, came out, and they had to put it back in and then reattach it. But the meniscus itself is in really good condition, so that's where it gets serious long term. And so he's the good news is that it's not a really a catastrophic injury. The bad news is he's out for the year, and so we will miss him dearly. He's a special player. He's a respected guy on his team, and we love the effort and attitude that he brings each and every week. So we'll miss him, and it's a tough one losing Tyler.
Opportunity though for others.
Yeah, definitely. And Justin Holmes comes to mind as a guy who's been knocking on the door, ready to go in and make those plays. And so I think Justin will get that opportunity this week. And he's shown throughout practice, whether it was his first fall here a year ago, spring practice or this fall, he's shown the ability to make big plays. So this is a good opportunity for him.
All right, we'll take a quick break here with Coach Caragher and talk BYU when we return on Spartan Sports Report.
With millions of businesses all in one place, the YP app can help you do pretty much anything. But can it get you to the moon? You'll need a space helmet. YP can do that. You'll need the highest rated hardware stores. Check. YP even has a cheap gas finder, which is perfect for longer trips. The even more powerful, so much more than a search engine Yellow Pages. YP can do that.
Come enjoy a California-grown experience at Una Mas Mexican Grill. From our local produce and freshest ingredients to our unique authentic Mexican dishes and salsa bar, Una Mas truly is California-grown. Since the first Una Mas opened in San Jose over 20 years ago, we've worked hard to use the freshest local ingredients to make the dishes you love. Because when we care this much about our food, everything is going to taste better, naturally. Una Mas Mexican Grill. We taste better.
Welcome back on Spartan Sports Report, continuing to talk with San Jose State head coach Ron Caragher as we get ready for the BYU game here, Coach. But first and foremost, a bye week in this past week, and having both teams on a bye. BYU also had a bye. Does that really kind of make you think that this is more of like a season opener than anything else because both teams have had the byes?
Definitely, and both teams should be refreshed, should be coming off a break. Both teams should have a chance to really heal up in a lot of ways from injuries and so forth. So it's kind of unique. And while I don't anticipate either team putting in a whole new offense or defense for a game, but you never know. Things can happen.
Right.
People can throw in some quirks in what they do and change things up a little bit.
How much does the bye help a guy like Tyler Ervin, who's been used a lot, and this particularly at this point in the season where the home stretch is coming up?
Yeah, I think it's good. It comes at a good time. I just think a bye is really good when it's a third of the way in or a third of the way from the finish. But too close to the front end or back end doesn't really serve much of a purpose. So I think our guys got a good break. We had some good competition. The big thing during a bye week, Justin, is not to lose the precision and timing in the passing game where you get thrown off. But I think we had some really good days last week competing against the defense. And the guys finally came back Sunday refreshed and ready to go. So it was a good bye, and now we're ready to really go full speed ahead with BYU on the horizon.
Well, Coach, BYU, a team, non-conference team, they had Taysom Hill. He went down earlier this year. Tanner Magnum at the quarterback position has really stepped up for them and shown that he can be their guy.
Yeah, he is. Talk about coming out early on very impressively, the Nebraska game. And then a week later, the Boise game, making some big-time throws at the end of those games to deliver a win. So very impressive performance by him, just a freshman, but not surprising, with BYU and the history of what they have done at the quarterback position and the passing game. He looks like he's maybe the next one in alignment with some of those great quarterbacks.
Well, this is a true passing team, maybe more so than anything the Spartans have seen this year. They have 5 receivers over 300 yards and a couple over 400 yards. That is their bread and butter, isn't it?
Most definitely. We will be tested on the secondary like we haven't been tested probably, in the last couple of years, just with the magnitude of the athlete they have out there, the size they have at the receiver position, and the quarterback making good decisions, and the time he gets. They have a really good offensive line, and that's a whole nother factor in a successful pass game is given that quarterback time. So they've got a good thing going. They're a hot team. They won 4 in a row, so we'll definitely be challenged.
And that's probably one thing that the secondary, the Spartans, who's best in the country, licking their chops to get out there. They want to take on a team like this, don't they?
Yes. I think every great athlete wants to compete and wants to be tested and pushed to the limits. And certainly this is a good, impressive team. And as I said, they're hot. They're playing really good football right now. And so it's going to be a fun one for our secondary, for our whole defensive unit.
Talk briefly about their defense here, Coach. Very active, 11 interceptions this year, 3-4 defense with impressive linemen.
Yeah, they are. Those guys up front are the guys who do a good job getting pressure on the opponent, and they're very stout. They're mature players. They do a really good job. Their linebackers are active. Their secondary is very good, creating a number of turnovers. They've given up some plays the while, but they've also been very active in creating turnovers. So they mix things up a lot with their blitzes, and they do a good job of mixing up man, cover zero where there's no help on top, to more of a conservative cover 3.
Right.
So they do a good job doing a wide variety of things on defense.
All right, should be a fun one at Spartan Stadium against BYU. That's San Jose State head coach Ron Caragher. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Justin.
More to come here on Spartan Sports Report when we return.
Come enjoy a California-grown experience at Una Mas Mexican Grill. From our local produce and freshest ingredients to our unique authentic Mexican dishes and salsa bar, Una Mas truly is California-grown. Since the first Una Mas opened in San Jose over 20 years ago, we've worked hard to use the freshest local ingredients to make the dishes you love. Because when we care this much about our food, everything is going to taste better, naturally. Una Mas Mexican Grill. We taste better.
If there's one thing the human foot has always been good at, it's unleashing great power. Introducing the 241 horsepower Lexus IS 200 Turbo with almost 20% more base horsepower. The IS performance line has never been more powerful. See your Northern California Lexus dealer.
Welcome back here on Spartan Sports Report. That does it for this week's episode. Once again, San Jose State returns to action this Friday, November 6th against BYU, the final non-conference game of the season. Kickoff from Spartan Stadium at 8:30 p.m. Pre-game show on 1590 AM KLIV and the Spartan Radio Network beginning at 8 o'clock. Fans, you can get tickets by calling 408-924-7589 or visiting sjsuspartans.com. It'll also be a gold out, so wear your gold to Spartan Stadium this weekend. Thanks for watching this week, and we'll see you next time.